Welcome to the Wexford Football League show. Tonight, myself and Nicky are back on set and we're joined by General Secretary of the LFA, Mr. Peter Doyle. Welcome to the show, Peter. Did you look at our live show last week? What do you think of it?
I did indeed, Aidan. I thought it was, I'm delighted to be here. I thought the show last week was very novel, very different, lot of interaction. Thought it was a good move to make. So yeah, well done. Yous are flying.
Yeah, look, and we're hoping maybe to do one a month on that. What do you think of it, Nicky? I want to make aware to everyone I was the only one in the room that got that big game result right, 2-1 to Gorey.
Yeah, sure, we get to that later on because you got other results wrong. No, look, it was really enjoyable. It's great to get the feedback off of the lads who are in there. I think the lads who are doing the show with us, I think they may start vetting a few people getting in. There was one or two lads from Kilmore weren't over happy with some of our comments. But look, you're in it with me. But no, look at it. It was great, and it's something different, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, look, I mean, look forward to the next one. It's open to any clubs to get in contact with us if they want to come on. So, Peter, we have you in here tonight to talk about your role. Maybe if you just explain to people what the role actually involves.
Right, as I suppose pure luck or coincidence that have it, I'm actually 15 years in the role today. I'm the General Secretary of the Leinster Football Association. The Leinster Football Association is an affiliate of the FAI, and we are the governing body then for the 20 leagues in Leinster around us. So I deal basically all day, or every day. My full-time job is dealing with the leagues, dealing with discipline, dealing with appeals, and one of the main roles, of course, is competition management. We look after all the competitions from the Leinster Senior Cup, Leinster Junior Cup, all the way down along, and even this year we're going to have a Leinster Junior Plate. So we've about 14 or 15 Leinster competitions in overall, including interleagues, and we'll come to the Pat Whitty one later on. We're actually taking over the Oscar Traynor provincial section this year, and the Wexford League and the Whitty family have put forward a cup in Pat's honour, but we'll talk about that in a while. But that's basically the role. It's a full-time job, full-time role, lucky enough to have got it. It's something I've been involved in football all my life. Started off with Tom Brack, was one of the founder members in Tom Brack in 1991, involved in the Wexford Women's League as well, and the Wexford Football League for a number of years. So I suppose getting onto this job was a dream.
You were saying there you're in it 15 years. That's a long time in football. So what's the biggest changes you've seen within clubs and football in general in the Leinster area?
Look, one, I suppose, is that clubs are gone much more professional and how they do their business. Clubs, the big clubs in particular, are now almost small businesses. I wouldn't even say almost small businesses. They are small businesses. They have massive turnovers of money. They're probably could merit having good full-time staff themselves, but a lot of them don't. They're still run by volunteers, very, very good volunteers. But I would say that's probably the clubs that are good are getting stronger. And look, at football is always going to be football.
Oh, you were saying the big clubs with the big turnover, would that be mainly Dublin clubs, or do you see that down in the other counties as well?
No, I would see it. Look, at the thing about the ones around the province itself, yes, Dublin would be. You're always going to have your Crumlin Uniteds, Killester, Donnycarneys, St. Moctas, Maynooth, University Town. They're always going to be there. But I've now seen like Evergreen, I think they've 2 all-weather pitches in Kilkenny. Newe boys, or Newe as they call themselves now, are developing in Carlow. St. Pat's boys, Crettyard, all with new pitches, all that sort of thing. Wexford, of course, North End, Gorey Rangers. The clubs just seem to be just getting a little bit more stable, and a bit stronger. And
the more professional that the clubs are, shall we say, would that actually make your job easier or tougher? Because obviously they'll know the rules a little bit more inside out.
And that's why they're a little bit more, they do make my job a little bit tougher, because as you rightly say, I suppose for the want of a better word, a fella years ago might have had something happen and he mightn't have even been aware that he had the ability to appeal a decision, or that he might just let it go, or it's not worth the effort, or it's just, and another thing too, that years ago, like if you wanted to appeal something to Leinster, for example, it meant basically going up to Dublin, so you had to take a half day off work, all this sort of thing. And I suppose the advent of Zoom and Teams and all this has changed all that. But clubs are definitely, and I don't even mean this in a bad way, but they're definitely gone smarter. They're gone very more aware of the rules. They know if something goes wrong now, they'll jump all over it. And look, that's part of it makes my job a little bit more, it is tougher because of it, but it also, I suppose, it makes it a little bit more interesting as well.
Yeah, and can clubs contact you directly, or do they have to go through the leagues, or
No.
Is your job a bit? Is it the clubs can go directly to you and bypass their league if they want? For information, maybe say, or advice on.
Yeah, they do, and they do. There's no point. I do probably. One of the faults I probably have in my own mind is I probably do make myself a little bit too accessible. But look, having said that, I come from grassroots football. I've been in grassroots football all my life. I know what the clubs are experiencing, and I know what they're going through, and so I always do make myself, if I can be helpful at all to them or give them any advice, I will do it. The only problem I suppose with that is I do become more difficult to contact. It's like the phone never stops. It's and it's emails all day. So yeah, but they can contact me.
You were saying that there's 20 leagues under your jurisdiction. How is the Wexford League seen outside of Wexford, say on the field and off the field? How it's run?
The Wexford League in general would be treated with great respect. It's the second biggest league. Which is, I suppose,
after Leinster
Senior League, yeah. It's the second biggest, so they have 3 people on our senior council, Gertrude Rowlands, Tom Connor and Pat Fortune. It is of quite well respected. Pat Whitty done great work. When Pat Whitty was actually on senior council of the LFA representing Wexford, he was very highly respected, and because of that too, he brought the league kind of a certain level of notoriety as well, because Pat was very strong and people could see what Pat was doing in Wexford, and he brought the league to a very high level, and that was kind of recognised at Leinster level. And Pat, unfortunately, when he passed away, had become vice president of the LFA, and he was going to be president, I think, in about the year after that again. So yes,
he had a role on the FAI as well, hadn't he?
Pat was at several roles. He was on the junior council, he was in the senior council of the FAI, and he was on a couple of FAI committees as well. But like all that kind of reflected back well and positively on the league. And I look at the moment, I think the league are flying. Like if you look at even the competitions, even forget about what even the league itself is doing, but even in outside competitions now, Wexford clubs are starting to excel. Like it's hard to believe, like Newe Celtic, I think, won the Leinster Junior Cup in 1983, and no other Wexford club won it again until North End won it a couple of years ago, and then they won it twice in a row, and then Gorey Rangers got to the final of it last year. So Wexford football in general would be treated very highly.
Would it give you a little bit of an extra buzz, say, when the likes of North End and Gorey have been in the final? Because I know, obviously, I've spoken to you up at the final days there. Would it give you a little bit more pride and a little bit more excitement about it, rather than 2 other clubs involved?
Oh yeah, of course I have to pretend to be impartial on the day and all that, but of course it does. Yeah, I do be delighted to see Wexford clubs doing well. I do like to see Wexford clubs doing well in all the competitions, like Ferns United Women. Like we've taken over the affiliation of women's football in the last couple of years as well in the LFA, and Ferns got to the Leinster Junior Cup final of that last year as well.
It was up in Kildare, wasn't it? Yeah,
that was up in Kildare against Newe Rangers. They got beaten 4-0 on the day, but like Newe were very, very strong. But even at Leinster Junior Shield, Leinster, like Shamrock Rovers got to the Leinster Youth Cup final.
Yeah,
sure. That sort of thing. They came up against St. Joy's. So like, yes, of course it is. Yeah, I would always have a certain pride in Wexford doing well.
You said there about the Oscar Traynor trophies coming back this year. I think it's the first time it's back since COVID, is it?
Yep,
it's under a new format, so maybe you'll explain to us how the format's going to work.
I think it was about halfway through between 2019 and thereabouts when it actually got pulled because of COVID, and like obviously interleague competitions were the first to go because of the fact that there was so much mixing and buses and all that sort of thing, so they pulled it and it was never finished. So then there was a bit of a problem trying to get it back up and running. The Oscar Traynor we're always trying to look at a different way of how the format could work. Like several people had different problems with how it was played. Nobody wanted a direct knockout competition, because a knockout competition meant you were putting a lot of money in and probably get beaten in one game and it's all over. So then there was the group stages. Then people were complaining that the group stages they're just the same groups all over and over again. So this year they came up with the idea that the provinces would run the early rounds of it, the group stages, and we were delighted. We got 8 entries in Leinster, which is quite good. And so there's 2 groups of 4, and they'll be kicking off from next week. And that will be 3 teams then from Leinster that will qualify for the quarterfinals of the actual Oscar Traynor itself. And going to the Oscar Traynor, like in Leinster, like I said earlier, the Pat Whitty Cup, the Whitty family are putting up the cup for Pat in Pat's honour. It's a fine cup. We'll be doing a launch of it in a couple of weeks' time. So I'm delighted. That's another thing that I have a little bit of pride in as well, the fact that it is the Pat Whitty Cup.
And you said that there's 8 teams from Leinster, but 20 could have entered it. Would I be right in that?
No, not really. When I say 20, there's 2 of them youths, there's 2 of them women, there's a couple of them smaller summer leagues, as they call themselves. So no, there would be about 12 that could enter it.
And would you know to take up in the other provinces?
It was quite reasonably okay. Like Ulsters are probably a bit unfortunate. They only have the 3 leagues. 2 of them have entered. The Munster had a good entry as well, and Connacht had all their leagues entered. They have 4, and they're all entered. But we have the biggest number and that's how we got 3 places in the quarterfinals.
Look, it's great for Wexford to have it named after Pat Whitty, in fairness, so well done to everyone on that.
Yeah, well, just on that, it's a competition I was lucky enough to manage in a few years ago, and I'd love to see a bit more buy-in from all the leagues, because at the end of the day, you don't get many opportunities to represent your county at junior football level. So, like, for me, it was probably the greatest honour I had, actually, was going out and managing. Can the FAI, or would they even look at it? I thought that they didn't push it enough, really. In that kind of, because we're all at a level, you know. Like, it would have been lovely to have been pushed a little bit more from the FAI, and maybe bring the finals to a bigger ground, or having something done a little bit more theatrical or something, I suppose.
Yeah, your point is kind of valid, but I suppose for the want of a better, it kind of was a competition that eventually kind of got overshadowed by the FAI Junior Cup.
Yeah.
The FAI Junior Cup became so high profile and became so, everybody wanted to play in it. Like, and I'm even going to use Sheriff as an example. They got to a stage where they were in a very strong AUL league, and they stopped giving their players to the AUL because they were concentrating on winning the LFA or the FAI Junior Cup. So the FAI, but then even the FAI Junior, with playing in the Aviva Stadium for the final, there was a bit of prize money for us. It was very high, as you say, it was put out there a lot more.
Yeah.
The Oscar Traynor got overshadowed, and that's kind of what happened. And I don't think it was actually done with lack of interest or it was just time and resources. And just for the clarification as well, as the FAI Junior Council used to run both of those competitions, and Dennis Cruz would have been one of the main people doing it. And look, I suppose it's just resources and time. Now, what we're hoping that will happen this year, like we're going to push it as hard as we can in Leinster for our section of it. Yeah. And like, we'll make a big thing out of Pat Whitty final when we get to it, no matter who's in it. Like, people will be hoping it's Wexford from the Wexford side of it because of that. But even if it's 2 of the other leagues, we're still going to make a big deal about it, try and push it as hard as we can, and then it'll go into the FAI competitions department after that, who are a kind of more professional in the regard is that they have full-time staff who might be a little bit more inclined to push it.
I suppose we can't have you in here and not talk to you about the growth in Wexford women's soccer. That's something you have played a big part in. Must be something you're proud of, especially with the Wexford women's in the Aircom League.
Yeah, no, delighted with it. Look, I there since 1998, kind of landed in that by mistake. Went in to a meeting one night, got elected as the PRO. Then the person doing the fixtures at the time decided that they left for personal reasons, and I took on that as well. So I ended up kind of doing a load of the day-to-day work in the league. And the league, like, there was 12 teams I had in it at the time, and this is the biggest season we've ever had this year, and we've, between schoolgirls and women's, we have 202 teams, I think, in it. But we're very lucky in the fact that we have a decent committee that's, like, where probably some people will look at me and say, oh, I'm the face of it, or I'm this, and I'm the one doing the fixtures and all that. But there's a lot of good people on the league that are making inroads as well.
In fairness, all the clubs, they're all pushing it now, and the majority of clubs are all pushing it with the schoolgirls, and even in my own club, the schoolgirls section has nearly gone bigger than the school boys section at the moment.
Well, I wouldn't say it's gone bigger, but yes, definitely probably in pro rata it probably is. I believe you're going to be a manager yourself in the
taking over the under 11 girls.
From what I heard, and look, and it's great. And what we are finding is a bit of, like, there's big growth at under 10s, under 11s, and under 12s, and that of course obviously feeds up. We've new clubs coming in this year that would have never been. Wexford Celtic who came back after being many years out. Ballymorn have came in for the first time as well. Like, now we have 4 clubs from South Wicklow, because there is actually no schoolgirls league in Wicklow. So we've Arklow United, Arklow Town, Auckland Rangers, and Newe from there as well. So, like, it's and I don't know whether the World Cup had a big impact on it or not. I think this was kind of coming anyway. Yeah. I think the undercurrent of the growth in girls soccer was there one way or the other. And I'm delighted to say, like, I think at this moment in time we're definitely the second biggest league in the country, and even pushing hard now to be the biggest.
All right, thanks for that, Peter. We'll move on then to the O'Neill's Premier Division results. The first one there, Farnan's beaten Shamrocks 6-3. Your old club, Nicky, there. I think that's their 5th defeat in a row.
Yeah, it is their fourth, is it? Fourth in a row. But yeah, look at it's not looking great for them at the minute. Shipping 6 goals, couple of heavy defeats. North End the week before that, or the Mind the week before that, and North End the week before that. So look, it's been a tough run of games. Ferns are strong. They're getting their numbers back, but yeah, look, Rovers just need to knuckle down. They have a week off this week, and they need to knuckle down and get a shape and stick to it.
Yeah, Seamus Casey, a man on fire at the moment after his exploits while getting the hurling. I think he scored a hat-trick in this one, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. Seamus is a good player. He actually played with me with Shamrock Rovers for we had him for about 6 months one time, and he went off then with the hurlers, the senior hurling team. But no, look, Seamus is a very good player, and Fern's a good solid team all around, and they should do well now that they're back in numbers.
Yeah, and then Ajax and Crossabeg and all. Look, we won't say much about that. We have the two managers on there later on the phone. Bunclody beating Campile 3-2.
Yeah, a great win for Bunclody. I think they were cruising at one stage in that game, but Campile fought back and made it a bit of a tight finish. So Brad will be a bit disappointed, but Bunclody are definitely going to be delighted to, after picking up, I think it's 6 points out of the first 4 games. So Nick Finn will be delighted up there, and it's something for him to build on.
And then the Mine beating Wexford Boys 4-1. It's a good win for the boys. Puts them back in with the other results, back into a title race for now.
You think so?
Yeah,
I genuinely don't think so. I think I said it. I think it's a 2-horse race. After seeing it, Mine definitely be third. In that at the minute anyway. But look, it's a great win against Bows, 4-1 at home. But they'll have to do small. I might go watch them this week and see can they surprise me for next week.
We have highlights of the North End Gorey game, but we'll get that in a minute. What do you think, Peter? Do you think it's a 2-horse race, or do you think more people can get involved? I think Ferns and Mine will be in it as well, myself.
I think I'm going to kind of be a political answer here. I think, yes, it's going to be very difficult to see anyone. I think if you have to win the league, obviously you have to get North End and Gorey Rangers out of the way, and they are the 2 front runners. But I think there's some of the teams there, like Ferns in particular, and Mine. I wouldn't rule about as quick as Nicky would. I think their impact, and I think Bunclody for some reason I think will have an impact as well. They might. I don't think any of the 3 are good enough at this point yet to maybe challenge.
Fort Celtic?
Fort Celtic are having a flying season so far, and it'll be interesting to see how the outside competitions might affect them.
Well, there'll be help now actually with St Martin's with their surprise defeat in the football last week. They'll have all them back now straight away this week. So
sure, everybody will have all their GA lads back. That's finishing up now. So you could, in theory, say the league is starting the last 2 weeks. That everybody is back to full strength. So
I asked you earlier about how the league itself is thought of outside Leinster. What's the Premier League thought? Would it be counted as a strong league with, say, the rest of the clubs around? Or
yes, very much. Now, it's very strange when you get the perception of when talking to other people. Always people will just first club they'll always think of as North End. They never they actually take, sometimes they take some of the lesser clubs as they might think, as we say, Bunclodies or Crossabegs, and then they get drawn against them in a cup, and all of a sudden they're beaten and they can't understand why. So I think that the general thoughts on the Premier Division is it's quite a strong division. They don't realise probably, but it's just that North End and Gorey Rangers are the 2 big ones
at the moment. Yeah, so we'll have the highlights here of the North End Gorey game. Nicky, you were at this game.
Yeah, I was at it.
Good value for their win.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100% they were. I thought personally for the first 20-25 minutes, the game was 50-50. There was nothing in it. North End scored a great goal. And once Gorey got back into the game, then once they scored, it really lifted them, and Gorey were definitely dominant from then on in. I'm sure.
Was it a tense game or?
Yeah, it was scrappy. It wasn't it wasn't the greatest game of football. Then again, that never is. Like, there was a lot of tension. I suppose nobody wants to lose. This is Kieran Carty's goal. It was a great goal. In fairness to him, an absolute cracker. So, and like he caught the goalkeeper by surprise, didn't he? But it was a belter of a goal, in fairness. And I thought at that stage that North End might kick on, but
just back to the
it was the complete opposite.
That goal there just did move there right in the last second, didn't it? On the keeper, in fairness.
I know, in fairness, it was a great strike. But as I was saying, I thought that North End would have kicked on from it, but it was actually kind of the opposite. And in fairness to Gorey, they scored 2 goals quite quick after each other. It was a great finish by Gavin O'Brien with a little flick header there. Gavin has been a great player in the league for a couple of years there. So North End to be probably a little bit disappointing with their defending on it. But I tell you, I had seen North End a couple of times before it, and they were excellent. They were well below par, I thought, going out Sunday. Probably 1 or 2 things might be concerning Denny. I thought that is actually the penalty. It was quite a soft penalty. I think Paul Brennan really bought it rather than earned it. Do you know, like, so. I know it is, but it was soft.
It can't be
and that's
soft.
what he's saying.
Penalty's a penalty.
He bought it though, do you know, like it was more of a lazy tackle from Robin than anything. It wasn't even a lazy tackle.
You have to find out there if you look at it again. Bobby is right beside it, in fairness.
Oh, no. And I just said it was soft. Do you know, like I didn't say it wasn't a penalty. I said it was a soft penalty. Like I'd prefer Robin, if he was going to give away the penalty, he was going to put Paul Brennan in the trees. Do you know, like, so and make him, as I said, earn it. But the one thing I thought that Denny may take out of the game and might be a little bit concerning, I thought that North End went very, very individual. Once they went 2 goals down, it looked like every player out there was only just playing for themselves. They didn't have, I thought they lost their shape a little bit, and I just thought it went very individual. So that would be a concern if I was in Denny's shoes.
I'll just remind you again that I did predict a 2-1 win for Gorey. I just felt they had to win this game. I think Peter hadn't they? The league was over for them. I think if they didn't win it.
I think it's good for the league.
Yeah,
actually that's good for the division, or for anybody looking at it from a neutral point of view. I think if North End had won that game, they were gone with the Premier Division, and that would be a terrible thing to say in October.
Yeah. And just to clarify something, I did say North End, but I did say that it wouldn't surprise me that Gorey would, and like, because they're 2 very, very good teams, and that Gorey side are like they're strong. Ryan Cullen was excellent. Paul Murphy was excellent again.
Ryan Cullen, North End were winning the game.
So well, Ryan Cullen went out into midfield and he actually done really well, and which surprised me as well. Skinny was doing well for North End on the side, and they took Conor Cassie off and put Ryan full back, and he just sewed that up. So so in fairness to Willie, he made a couple of good changes as well.
You must be going out in Gorey this weekend, are you?
No.
You're praising them for a change.
I praise them when they deserve it. So.
To be fair to North End, we are missing probably 2 of the better players in, probably one of the best players in the league in Spot. I think he was at the flu the night before, but I think as big as the last Spot is, I've watched North End twice this year. I'm really impressed with Kyle. I think Kyle was a massive loss in the centre of the field. Yeah,
well, it's his aggression as well. Like he closes down, he works hard.
Leader.
Yeah, and like they're massive presence out of a dressing room. You have Gary, Kyle, and Paul out of the dressing room. So like they're big players to drop out of any squad. And Gorey were, I think, at full strength. I heard we were actually speaking about the chap last week, that Gilligan chap. He's actually gone to Carnew. So like Gorey now are at their full strength. They signed the chap in the goal. He actually looked quite good. Even though he was quite small, he looked quite small, but he has all that to be a good goalkeeper, and he looked very steady for him.
Yeah, if you were a manager though, Peter, you'd be happy enough when you see North End's team sheet without spotting it though, wouldn't you?
Of course you would, yeah. Like it makes an awful difference, but still, look at North End, they're still a strong squad. It's just a game. Like I said, when I say for the neutral, it's probably as well Gorey won it, just to keep the league slightly alive. But you can never turn around and say that North End are still not going to be challenging for the league because of that. Like I think it's just. But they were in danger of looked like there was, even at the start of it, like even in their win in the FAI Junior in the first round against Newe, like Newe were very unfortunate to lose there a couple of years ago. They lost, they conceded a goal very, very late, and North End absolutely wiped them off the earth in the match there the night or last few weeks ago, had 4-1. So.
And Rob Nicky's quote, Denny's honeymoon is over now, so he'll have a tough one this weekend. But we move on to the Ajax Crossabeg game. We have Crossabeg manager Joe Newe on the line. Are you there, Joe?
Yeah, how are you doing, Aidan?
Not too bad. You're here with Nicky Murphy and also the man I think that might have gave you your first job in management, Peter Doyle out in Tombrack.
Yeah. I was listening to it all there. Wouldn't be like you now to turn around and say, remind everyone that you got a prediction right.
He doesn't get too many right. That's why he said it, Joe.
No. You're backtracking on what you said as well there.
Well, I tipped you to win actually to be Ajax. So what happened?
It just didn't go to plan. Like we
no
lost
plan
the
B.
ball. Nah, well, I had to have a plan B when Anto didn't come out past the D, I'd say. But yeah, no, I was just couldn't get the ball in the net. No, we didn't cut Ajax up or cut them apart or anything. But we still had 2 chances to win it, and we just didn't put them in the net.
0-0, Joe. Would you be disappointed with the player? I know you would be disappointed because I know you and all the way you think. But the players themselves, would they be happy enough going to Ajax and getting a 0-0 draw with Ajax history and things? I know they might be at their best this year, or have you changed the players' mindset and saying that 0-0 draw is not good enough and that you want to be fighting further up the table? They have to be going to likes of Ajax and getting 3 points.
Yeah, no, I was actually saying this to one of the lads yesterday. There is a change of mindset there. I was more, I'm not going to say devastation in the dressing room, but lads were really disappointed not to get a win out of it. I think the lads across the big at the minute are going into every game thinking we can get a win, and like we're not picking and choosing. Kind of, I know some things that pick and choose, kind of say we won't get a win there, but we might get a win here. We kind of going in trying to get 3 points in every game. Lads were disappointed. We were all disappointed in the dressing room after Sunday not to come out with the win. Which, to be fair, is a testament to the lads, the effort they're putting in down there. That's the mindset that they're coming out with now, is to go into these games and try win them.
Ajax, they look like they could be a bit difficult to play against, especially at home. Obviously, they drew against Gorey there as well a couple of weeks ago. But they're very experienced. They seem to be fairly well organised the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, Anthony Russell playing centre back. I'd say that man could play at least 50, 55 or 60 even. He doesn't look like he's ever slowing down too much, but he organises everyone around him, that he gives himself as little work to do as he can do.
And always like that.
Yeah, he's top class. Like,
great player.
And he has Brian Ronan there beside him as well. Like, and Brian is fairly quick across the ground and fly into tackles and stuff like that. So they complement each other. They had a chap sitting in front of him now the other day. I think it's that Robert Ronan. I think, and he just kind of sat in front of the back 4. So no, he didn't drop into the line, but he kind of sat in front of him. So it was kind of hard to go through the middle. But they are very well organised. Dylan Clark was actually looked to be back to his best. I suppose he was quick enough off the line and stuff like that. He played well again Sunday. But yeah, very well organised. Sit deep. I mightn't like me saying that, but they were kind of sitting on the edge of the D and didn't come too far off and try to catch us on the break and stuff like that. But tough to break down.
It's your 3rd season in the job, Joe. You got him from, I think they got promoted from Division 2 the year you took him on up to Division 1. Then you got promoted to Division 1, kept him in the Premier last year through the playoffs, and you're there now this year. Do you think this is a year that you just have to kick on, maybe try to challenge for a few things, maybe further up the table and the cup? And how have the players taken to you? I know you're lucky enough in a way, you're dealing with players that are playing senior hurling football, so they have the mentality to compete at the high level. They know what's involved regards training and all. But I'm sure you've changed things up in training regarding maybe ball work and things. How have they taken to that, and what sort of effort do you get out of them, and what belief do they have?
Yeah, you get a lot of effort out, to be fair. I was lucky enough going into it. No, I didn't notice at the time, but when I went down there, they did likes of Keane Bogan and Keane Doyle, who were mixed in with Wexford Youths under 19. I think Keane Doyle even made it to the senior squad at one stage. And then you had likes of Conor Devricks, who's he does play, he predominantly plays GA, but he could, in my eyes, he could get to a kind of Oscar Traynor level centre back. And then, like, you know, you'd have a few real good lads scattered around that as well, then like Barry Coughlin and Andy Butler and that. So I was lucky enough that those players were there when I went in. Again, you know me, I'm kind of free on the ball. I don't have too much structure or too much. I don't put in too many rules when we're on the ball. I kind of like to get it down and move it around. But like the training this year has probably kind of changed a little bit from more gone from. Well, I won't say gone. I mean, you still do small-sided games and stuff, but the Friday evenings are kind of open up into a big pitch and go through as much phase of play as you can go to when lads are there. And like I was saying this, I think I was saying this to you, Aidan, at the start of the pre-season there, that there's so much upheaval in the Premier Division this year as regards managers moving and changing. Or like you're gone, Nicky's gone out of it, Dodger's gone, Goggy's gone. That someone's going to pop up somewhere. Pop up somewhere and either go a nice distance in the cup or finish high up in the table in the league. And I'd just be saying to the lads, why not Crossabeg? Like, we've good players down there, great facilities, committee's great, club is on the up, so why not us?
Yeah, Nicky wouldn't agree with you.
I know, I do. And in fairness to Crossabeg, they've made great strides over the last few years, and it's a credit to all the lads down there who obviously you just touched on your own committee and the job you're doing. Like it was never a nice place to go down and play, and for years you'd always get a really tough game no matter who you went down with. But in fairness, you're really growing a nice club, and fair play to you, and I congratulate you on everything you're doing down there.
Yeah, well, so like that, it's a committee full of nearly players. It was a committee full of players, and McCreevy was the chairman, Will McCreevy down there.
Always helps with a few pound.
Well, he works hard. I put it that way. He works hard on everything down there. But he's still playing. Like, they're all players, so they're all trying to do their best for the club when they're on the field, as well as just trying to do the best for themselves, and that kind of helps. It does definitely help.
All right, thanks, Joe, and all the best from us for the rest of the year and to the Crossabeg lads.
All right, talk to you later, lads. See you, Peter.
See you, Joe. Good luck. Bye.
You had Joe out in Tombrack. He done a good old job out there too.
Oh yeah, no, Joe. What I always liked about Joe was a winner. Joe doesn't mess around. He's not doing the job just because he got the job. He done everything he could that year to keep us in the Premier Division. He didn't get an ounce of luck.
Jeez, they got quite a tough start.
They got a terrible start.
Yeah, mine, Rovers, Gorey, North End, the first 4 games.
First 4 games, yeah.
So and all them clubs are going well that year.
Yep.
I think we all four went into the. Did we all go into the league run in that year? That year you won the league? I think it was. So was it?
No, I don't think. No, it wasn't the year mine.
That's why we won the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're definitely like Joe, and even as he said, like Crossabeg, that's not happening by mistake. Like, it's not just a lucky thing that they're the ones that's popping up. They're actually have to put in a lot of hard work in over the last number of years, and it's now starting to pay off for them. Too soon to be challenging for the Premier title, maybe, but I think good cup runs is not beyond belief. Like, if we were even talking about, like, they're playing Cretyard on Sunday in the FAI Junior. Cretyard is be a big test. If they can come through that, it'll just show how strong they are.
Yeah,
did a great win actually in the first round of the FAI against St. Pat's up from Carlow. That will surprise people. Outside of Wexford, the
score line probably more than I think they beat him 4-1 or something. They beat him quite well anyway.
Yeah.
I think the score line more than the fact that they got beaten. I think like Crossabeg, once again we'll go back to that thing. Oh, for not going to North End or Gorey Rangers, the rest of them are all right. Yeah. I think they got a bit of a shock when they went to Crossabeg and they came up against a club that were well able to handle them. Like St. Pat's would be one of the better. If anybody is probably going to challenge Newe in Carlow, it's probably St. Pat's. And it would look like it's a good result. Yeah, well,
we've Sean Beefy Farm now to get the other side of the view of that game. Are you Beefy, you there?
Oh yeah, how are you getting on?
Not too bad. So we got Joe's view on the game there. You're player manager, so first of all, I'll ask you that. How's that going? I don't think it's something I'd like to do.
No, I tell you, I only stood in there because we were short for a couple of weeks against Gorey and against Crossabeg. Well, we weren't short against Crossabeg. I had most of the lads back, but after I didn't really change much from the Gorey game starting off against Crossabeg, so I kept it the same way. I kept the formation the same that we went with, and just lads were back then. We were a lot stronger for the Crossabeg game than we would have been for the Gorey game, but look, the Crossabeg game, look, being honest, kind of disappointed we probably didn't win the game, but I like a draw was probably the fairest result, and even going into it that way, like there was little chances for both teams. Crossabeg probably had more of the ball in the first half, and I suppose then like the second half, then I made a few changes, brought some of the lads in, brought Fenwick O'Shea in, Liam Moore into the middle, and the two boys, in fairness to them, actually made a massive difference.
How are you, Beefy? It's Nicky here.
How you getting on, Nick?
Good. To be honest with you, Beefy, I found managing tough enough on the sideline without playing. Jesus, I don't know how you do it. Playing, like, I know you have your brother-in-law Stephen Casey there with you, and Nick Furlong is there as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, like, would you put the trust in them to make decisions on the line, or do you make them from playing, like, even if you are playing?
No, well, in fairness, Nicky, the two boys, I tell you one thing, the two of them are brilliant. To see it, I know. Look, you and Aidan know, you know that probably better than I do as well. You're managing a long time, the 2 years. Yeah, you've said it. You've a couple of sets of eyes on the line with you, and they'll see stuff that you won't see. I'm just learning that now, actually, from managing. You know, I would never cop stuff like that. But when you have Stephen Casey, who has played before, and Nick is a good coach as well, the boys are spotting stuff as well, Nicky. Especially, like, I took myself off in the second half. I was booked. And
well, Stephen Casey said he took you off. Your brother-in-law.
He'd say that all right, yeah. But no, because we went out onto the line. Like, you see, when we played against Gorey and I started that day, I had the lads on the line as well. But like what you said, trying to do both, it is hard. You know, like when I was on I was missing for the first game against Bunclody. I was on holidays. And we were actually on the book. We were supposed to be down for a free week that week, but I think Wexford Boys might have put in for a free week or something like that, because I think as soon as the fixtures went up that Monday for the first week of it, we were down to play Bunclody away. So I was gutted over that one because I was on holidays. But so I don't really know. Like the lads got best 4-0 up there that day, but.
So you're blaming your coaches for that one.
Yeah, I blame the two boys for that. But then against Gorey, look, we were a bit short, and as I said, I had to start myself. I didn't intend to. Look, I signed up as a player. If the B team were ever short that like that, I just done it for that sort of reason. But look, I had to throw myself in against Wasp, one of the best teams in Leinster. So look, it didn't go too bad for us anyway. We got a decent point out of that one, so I can't really give up about that either.
All the best for that, Beefy, and best of luck with the player managing role. Because managing is tough, so I can't imagine a player manager one. So all the best for that for the year.
I think the playing might be done, and I just stick to the managing.
Best of luck, Beefy.
Cheers, Beefy.
Thanks, bye.
Beefy, good luck, bye.
Good luck.
Right, move on to 4-star pizza Division 1 results. Double whammy for North End, losing the 2 games. Nicky 6-2 to Gorey.
It's a massive win for Gorey, wasn't it? So 6-2 beating them down there. So
Paystars in that now.
North End are struggling a little bit. They've been so strong in that division the last few years. I know I was talking to Mick Farrell before the first team game. He said he was waiting on a few players to come back, but if he waits any longer, they could be completely out of the run of competing in that league.
Yeah, we'll have you here, Peter. There's a question I have to ask you. I think we talked about it last week with the Division 1 boys about promotion. With the 2B teams there, is there any way that they could go play in the Premier? Or is it down to Wexford, or is it an FAI Leinster thing? Or
well, look, it is down to each individual league, but it's not a done thing anywhere.
Kilkenny do it, do they?
Kilkenny tried it, and it didn't work that particularly well. Like you're trying to put. It is a problem. It's probably the biggest argument for bringing back the older reserve division. I think
North End finished in top 3 could be 4 or 5 seasons in a row.
Well, they won it twice.
Yeah,
they won it twice. And I look at it's not a directive that comes from anywhere, but it's just not a done thing. To keep up the integrity of the Premier Division and to keep the Premier Division strong, you don't want load of B teams in the Premier Division as well.
No, I'd agree with you, Peter. To be honest with you, I think the ruling that Wexford have on it, I think, is probably the right to do in it, because I think you just might.
The ruling is if they finish the top 3, there's only 2 goals.
Yeah, whichever. Yeah.
2 up, 2 up.
Yeah, it could be 1 up or 1, whichever way. But no, I'd agree on it.
Yeah, and then we had Glenbarton, a great away win to Rosslare, who'd been doing decent. In fairness, 4-2 win for Glenbarton.
Yeah, great win for Glen. 4-2 down in Rosslare. So yeah, look, they're going reasonably well, Glen are, and lads have a lovely jersey there for eye care. In fairness to them, they do great work. Them lads are, and it's good to see them. 'Cause a lot of people talk about Glyn a couple of years ago. They thought they were going to fly up through the divisions when they started in the men's league. So they're after hitting a bit of a standstill. And to be honest with you, I kind of thought they might have went backwards a little bit, but they're coming strong again. So yeah, it's good.
All Blacks, great 3-0 win home to Corey. That's 3 wins out of 4 for All Blacks. The only black mark to that is that a walkover. Going to throw you under the bus again now, Peter. Can there be more done maybe to help teams like All Blacks? Like that walkover could cost them a league title. Like could have been. I know they could have looked for their free Sunday and all, but maybe they weren't aware. They could have looked for GA. I don't know, but is there something maybe?
Yeah, but I suppose the answer, I'm going to throw it back to you. What is the answer to it? Like, it's unfortunate that
I have an answer for it, but no one agreed with it last year.
No, they didn't. And I suppose, look, we're not going to turn it into a kind of a soccer anti-GAA sort of a thing or anything, but I suppose it's just one of those things that could have happened. It's unfortunate, like a walkover. No, I don't think, looking at it, I don't think it'll cost them the league. I think they're very good. I think if they can keep it together and keep it going, I think it might be something to just be able to put behind them. But there is options there. Look, you see it all the time. Like it was even said to me in the Wexford AGM one night, there's a load of clubs only enter the LFA and the FAI Cups just to get basically free Sundays.
That's what he used to do.
Yeah, and they're probably
hands up.
And they're probably a team that could have won the Leinster Junior Cup at some point with the squad they had at the time.
And it's a regret that we didn't go that far in it, or we didn't try to do it. But
and the year you did do very well in it, I think who knocked you out? It was
Airfield, yeah. No, Airfield, yeah.
And sure, was Airfield knocked mine out the year that mine took a serious run at it. So like it just proves that it can be done.
Airfield were beaten in the final.
Maybe All Blacks should have been probably a little bit more, as you say, shrewd. Maybe should have looked for the Sunday free or whatever it is, and see how you go from there.
Yeah, or contact whoever they were playing, see would they play Saturday. Like I'm sure Pat Whitty wouldn't have a problem rejigging fixtures like that. But just touching on Cora, like they've struggled with GA players as well. I'm sure there's a small bit of pressure starting to come on John. Down there, they would have been kind of, I would have fancied them to have done quite well this year in the league. Aidan is sitting with a bit of a smug face. He didn't. John, you may get that poster out. But no, I just I would be concerned for Gorey now as well a little bit. They have a great setup, but they're going to have to start picking up points now fairly quick. Yeah,
another team flying, Bridge Rovers, great win again, Cloughbawn 4-1. I think there might be a little bit of a, not to them maybe, but for maybe on the outside, I think it'll be a bit of a surprise team in that division.
Yeah, no, Bridge are going well. Tough place to go down to, Bridge, as we said before. But Cloughbawn haven't started yet. They're bottom of that division, and they'll need to pick up points rapid. Yeah, and then Ross Celtic, Courtown. I think it's a decent enough result for Ross Celtic. I think Courtown will be disappointed. They're not picking up the wins. I thought they'd actually run away with this division, but it's not looking like that. No, and maybe Cora and Courtown dropped down into the division thinking it was going to be a bit easier than they thought. But as we all know, Peter, you were with Tom Brack when Joe was there, and Boogie and the lads in that Division 1. It's one of them divisions that can be scrappy, tight affairs. There's never much in it, is there? Division 1 is the very same as the Championship in England. You don't know what you're going to do in it. And actually, the year that we got promoted, we actually won one game with about 5 games to go. That if we'd have lost, we would have been fighting relegation. And instead we got up and got into the playoff and then beat Rosslare Rangers to get promoted to the Premier Division. But that just shows how tight a division it is. Like there's some, like if you look at it, there's some exceptionally good teams there. Yeah, definitely, yeah. Big clubs in it. Yeah. Now we have a club feature with Cloughbawn Afc.
My name is Jim Redmond, Cloughbawn chairman here. We established ourselves in 1972 down in Texas Field in Clonroach. The Butler family down there formed the club at that stage. And we moved out of that then through circumstances, and we came up here to a field belonging to Dennis Cummins, gave us field up here. And then this land here came up for sale, and we bought it here off of Thomas Doyle. And as you can see, we have developed it since then. A lot of hard work has gone in from all members, and we have a very, very good committee here working. And you can see for yourself how far we come. Well, we're doing all on the range, and you can see there this evening we have our little academy lads out there. Must be 40 of them there, I'd say, when they're all here. So they're sixes up, like 5, 6 up to 8. We have 2 senior teams here. Our B team is down in Division 3A, I think, and our A team is in Division 1. And we have the ladies as well here, the senior ladies here. We're looking into getting underage girls here now as well. We have a good few underage girls playing. They're allowed to play with the boys up to a certain age, but after that then they drift away. So we're trying to keep them in the club for the bring them in senior. And yeah, we were established in 1972 and we're going well since. We had our 50th anniversary there last year, and they named the club the Redmond Park in honour of the work that we're after doing here, especially to me. And I think it was a great honour to get that done to you before you die. Usually, before that happens, you're dead or something that happen to you, but to be active and that to be done is a big honour to me. You know yourself the way it's running, it's hard to keep teams together, but we're lucky. We do be caught bad with the GA at times, but sure we get like a lot of country clubs in a little parish like ours. Yeah, we have 7 or 8 lads playing GA. See, there's the hurling and the football, and we're just looking now the way the hurling has gone, that they're playing every week, and it's nearly over before the soccer starts. But then the football comes in. And I suppose the same interest as not in the football here, as I suppose, as they have in the hurling, which makes it a bit easier for us as well. Other than that, things are good and we're fine.
So there we had Jim Redmond of Cloughbawn, a very proud man of the work he's done out in Cloughbawn, and it's a great community club and they do great work out there. It's a fantastic club, Peter, isn't it?
Very hard working club. They've come up, like, they're 50 years old, which is a great achievement. They wouldn't have had it easy down there, like they would have been up against a strong GA club, but they worked very hard, and a lot of it would even go down to the likes of Jim. I'm delighted, actually, myself and Nicky were just talking about there. It's great to see that the park was called after him when he's there to enjoy it, because it's great. Like, it was a great achievement. Hard work had to go into it. They have a lovely little Astro down there for their training and their small-sided stuff and all that. So, well done to Cloughbawn. Always a tough place to go to play. I remember even playing down there myself. It was hard.
Oh, tough area to go. All right, at times. But in fairness to them, just they've come on leaps and bounds in their facilities and things like that. Like they have a lovely little dressing room, and as you touched there, Peter, under Astro, and 2 pitches. Like, there's not many clubs have 2 pitches, and they have the 2 of them out there. And fair play to Jim. Obviously, his own son Tank does a lot of work, and Debbie as well. Like, they do massive work. I'm sure there's more to it than just the 3 of them, but it's great work, and long may it continue out there.
In your day-to-day role, I'm sure you come across loads of people like Jim Redmond, but they're invaluable to the grassroots game, ain't they? Very
much so, and unfortunately they're not. The biggest problem, I suppose, in any grassroots sport, and definitely in our game, is that we're finding it very difficult to find the Jim Redmonds of the world anymore. There's nobody willing to put. Look, it's not even so much willing to put in the effort. There's so many other demands in people's lives now. Like, there's people who have to work and they're not able to come home and then go down to a pitch and do what the likes of the Jim Redmonds of the world have done. But look, you have to appreciate the work they have done and hope that we can find more of them.
Yeah, and we wish Cloughbawn all the best in improving their facilities and in the leagues. We move on into the Apex Division 2. We'd Port Celtic, Curracloa 3-all draw. Kilkenny picking up another win, beating Adamstown 3-0. Kilmore, who are gone 4 from 4 on this one, Nicky, I think, had a 5-1 against Wexford Celtic. Joseph, who seems to be starting to sing now, 7-0 up against Wexford Boys. And Peter's club, Tom Brack. I said it here last week, they might be the dark horse for this league. Another good win in home tennis Scotland United 1-0. So what's success for Tom Brack this year, Peter?
Well, I think they're definitely looking at they need to be in the promotion race. They fell away a bit last year in that division. I think they ended up finishing 4th. Actually, only 2 points behind Gorey Rangers second team. But like consistency and to get back up to Division 1 is definitely what we'll be looking for.
Any result there, Nicky, stick out to you or surprise you? Or?
No, not really. I think it all went the way you'd kind of expected it.
Joseph 7-0 was a bit. You'd expect them to win it, but maybe not as.
Yeah, so look, sure, you'd never expect to go out and win any game 7-0. Like, it's not something unless you're playing a game of rugby. But no, look, 7-0. It's a great win.
Love to see you on a rugby field.
So I played rugby. So I did.
Scrum half.
And exactly.
Little small fella.
Yeah, where you're not going to get hit.
Move on to the Betxs Division 3. Timon 2-1 win again. I'll get her actually struggling in this a little bit. I thought it would have been doing a lot better now.
Yeah, it's looking that way on the league table, all right. Like they were in the cup semi-final last year and they looked quite decent. The Ram Ballymurn extra time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was a good game that day out in Crossabeg. But no, and they signed a couple of players this year, Jamie Rowan, Conor Heffernan. So you would have thought that may have made them stronger. Maybe it's a bit of coincidence. I'll get junior footballers are going well, so they might get a few back and start strengthening then.
Move on to the TJ Murphy's 3A. Barntown, again, a lot of goals in this division. Barntown 8-1 again. Kilteely. Fedard, who are going strong in this division, 1-0 again. Cushinstown and Rosstown, who are flying the flag on top of it. 6-0 win, Tennis-Corey. All those rules, I think, are expected enough there, wouldn't they?
Yeah, definitely. 100%, I think so, yeah. That division looks like it might not be a division for goalkeepers. Goals going in left, right and centre.
I just point out there's very few games in the 3 and 3A this week because the Leinster Junior Shield was on. Peter, you were saying there was a strong contingent in it from Wexford. Is it maybe, could we be looking at a Wexford winner at this year?
I'm always reluctant to say looking at a Wexford winner, but yeah, there was 26 teams entered it, which was fantastic. It's the second. I'm not even going to say the second biggest entry. I think the Leinster Senior League and Wexford would have kind of had similar. But what's probably better is that a lot of them got through. Now, we made the draw for it yesterday, and there's actually 4, I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there's actually 4 all Wexford ties in the second round, which will reduce the numbers of them, I suppose, quite quickly, and a few other tough games as well. But look at, Wexford teams, by their nature, always do get a good run in it, so look, here's hoping. Yeah,
and again in the Kennedy Craft Butchers, for the same reason, we've only 2 games, Cairn 4 all again Cormac's. I think a good one to see, and Farnan's beating Curraclough 5-2, and I think Farnan's are 100% record in that one, Nicky, the division.
Yeah, no, plenty of goals. We may start going down looking at them divisions more often. We might get a bit excited. We're going to some of the Premier games now and they do be crap. But no, look at that. It's great to see plenty of goals going in. So it's interesting.
Butcher's Best Division 4A. Joseph's losing out 3-2 to Ajax. Campoyle losing out 4-2 to Campoyle or to Kilmore. That's another win for Kilmore. And Wexford Boys beating Enniscorthy United 2-1. And we have the Streamline Technologies Division 5. Burns meeting Castle Dockers, maybe a bit of a surprise there. Will be a bit of a derby.
That's the one you got wrong, Aidan. So see, you didn't get them all right last week. I thought you gave Castle Dockrell the league title last week.
I did. Marshall in the football semi-final.
Yeah, but it's still.
Sorry, Marshall and Castle Dockrell. Tom Brack actually surprised me as well on this one. Peter beating Bree 3-2. Bree been flying in this one.
Yes, probably a bit of a surprise though, to be honest. But look, our B team has been a bit unfortunate and unlucky in a couple of the games that they lost as well this year. So I think the B team could be probably a little bit stronger than people will anticipate, and I think if they can keep consistency and keep the run going, it was a good win. No matter what I said, yeah, maybe a bit of a shock, but still a good win nonetheless.
And Gorey said they look to be theirs to lose really in this division. Really, I think it's 4-4 for them, 4-0 win again. Cora.
Yeah, I was talking to Adam Connor, who plays with Gorey there over the weekend, and he reckons that the nice little squad there together, and they're going quite well.
We had All Blacks beating Wexford Celtic 3-1 and Fastnet beating Camolan 5-1. So that's the results for this week. We'll move on to the fixtures. We might 2 games in the Premier this week because of the FAI. We'll get to the FAI fixtures in a minute. So the 2 games in the Premier, Nick. You says only a 2-horse race. I reckon it's a 4-horse race maybe, and or 5. I'll put 4 Celtic there as well. No, even though I didn't at the start. So we have Ferns again, North End. How do you think that one will go?
Look, it's a really, really tough one for North End to bounce back to. Ferns, as we know, is going up there, is a tough little spot to go to. Farn's are very good players with a good mix of experience and a bit of youth. They've Anto Larkin in the goal, who likes playing in the goal, who wants to be a goalkeeper. So that's a big bonus that they didn't have last year. So to be honest with you, if I was Denny, I'd have probably preferred to play the FAI Junior Cup game against Shelbourne after getting your defeat and going into that one against Ferns. Hopefully he'll be hopeful that he'll have spot back. I'm sure Kyle will be back from his holiday, so that will strengthen him up a bit. But it's a tough game. I don't know how to call that one. It could end up being a draw. It would be very interesting to see how North End react.
You mentioned Highgate and the football. I think they're playing Saturday evening. So if they win it, which I think they're probably favourites to win that in football, will the 3-4 boys from Highgate play with Ferns?
Sure, why wouldn't they?
They'll have a county final next week.
It's only junior football. They're playing the highest level in Wexford soccer against one of the strongest clubs in Ireland in junior football. If you let me finish my point, why would you be worried about playing junior football a week after?
If you let me finish my point, if they have a full team, including Seamus Casey, who's a man on fire at the moment, in all sports, I think they have to. If they have the full 11, if Martin can pick his strongest team, I think they have to go. If they want to be serious about winning the league, they have to go pick up something here, and maybe even a win. But they have to definitely come out on the feet if they want to be in the race, I think.
Yeah, I think I genuinely do think Ferns can potentially get in and around that very, very top. But I think there might be another year away from it. Like, I think sometimes you have to lose a couple before you can, and I think they might have to get in one or two more players to make him really, really strong to compete at it. But I think North End should be too strong. But I still would fear for them bouncing back from the defeat last week.
You want to call it, Peter?
Oh, I'm never going to call it. That's a dangerous thing to do, but I am going to agree with Nicky, which is even worse. I think it's a tough one.
Done that last week, no, that wrong.
I think it's a tough one for North End to have to bounce back from, but I think that North End probably will. But I do think Ferns are probably one of the most up-and-coming clubs in the Premier Division at the moment. You see clubs having a flash in the pan, a good season, and then probably fighting relegation the following season. They've showed now that they're not going to do that they're there to stay. And I think it could be a tough game, and I think it'll be an interesting game. But I probably, if you did force my hand on it, I think North End might scrape away with the 3 points.
Yeah, I think North End will get their honeymoon back on track this week, just because I'm not sure if Ferns will be at full strength. If Ferns are at full strength, I think it could be a very close one. And the other game in the Premier League is Ajax v Fort Celtic.
Yeah, look, Ajax picked up 2 nice results, a point in each one of them. They come up against Fort Celtic now, who will be fresh after not having a game last week. All the St. Martin's lads back. Chris, in fairness to him, is doing a great job down there with Fort. The massive numbers coming through their underage system and things like that. So they're really reaping the rewards for it. Peter just said Ferns are an up and coming club. Fort Celtic are definitely one of them as well. They have a lovely pitch down there to play on. So look, you would have to fancy Fort in it. The one thing I think the Fort do, and you can take this however way they like it, people probably didn't like the way when I managed Shamrock Rovers, the way we played. We were very direct, we were very hard working, we knew what we had to do, and 9 times out of 10 we broke teams down. And I think Fort Celtic are quite similar to that. They work very hard, they close people down in the right areas of the pitch. They also be able to play a bit of football. So I just think there might be, with the age profile of the Ajax team, I think the Fort lads will be a little bit too powerful for them.
That's the first time you admitted your style is direct. Thanks for that.
Hey, look at you played backwards and sideways for how long? I tell you went around more roundabouts on Spaghetti Junction.
It was easier to look at.
What did you just win?
Every division up and on.
In the top.
1 Premier. Good enough. More than a lot have.
Well, that's true. But look, styles,
just on this game, I think
styles come with teams as well, though. In fairness, and I've been probably I was a bit disrespectful there in saying that you've had a lovely footballing team. You know, you've probably had too many footballers. So we were that little bit more direct, and that's the way we like to play.
On styles for this game, I think Fort Celtic might have to change up a bit because they're relying on a lot of speed and getting in behind teams. we mentioned Anton Russell there. He didn't allow it happen last week in Crossabeg. He's not going to allow that happen today, or on Sunday. So they're going to have to maybe be a bit more intricate outside the box with a little few 1-2s, giving goals, because I don't think they're going to get behind the Ajax a lot. And I think that's one of the reasons the Ajax are not conceding a lot of goals, because they are sitting in deep.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you a little bit, because the fitness, like you look at the age profile of that Ajax team, they are quite old. Like as you said, you have Beefy, you have Glenn Fortune, you have Anto. Like they're nearly as old. How old are you, Peter? They're nearly as old as Peter at this stage. Never mind us too.
Yeah, we're not getting into that.
So like that over 90 minutes of a team bombarding you, maybe we'll see. We'll know on next week.
He's going to call it.
Look, at Fort Celtic, I wouldn't even call them up and coming. I think they're there.
Yeah,
they've all, and I think they're well capable of getting good runs in outside competitions and all. But having said that, Ajax is never going to be easy. They've pulled together some good results. They seem to be well organised. I'm not going to call it, but I'm going to go for a draw.
I'll go Fort Celtic.
I'd say Fort as well.
We'll go on now. When we have Peter here, we'll look at the FAI fixtures for the Wexford teams. He'll be able to help us with the teams outside of the county. Well, we think we have actually 3 all Wexford ones. We have Division 2 Kilmore, again Glenbarntown Division 1, and we have an all Premier game that was on actually last week, Wexford Boys and the Mine, and then we have Bunclody against St. Pat's. That's the team Crossabeg beat, isn't it?
Actually, just to clarify, Crossabeg beat him in the Leinster Junior.
Oh, Leinster Junior.
Yeah. So that's interesting to see what St. Pat's will be like now, because they would have been caught with GA a little bit as well, probably earlier in the year. It'll be interesting to see what sort of team will come down to Bunclody.
Yeah, then another all Wexford one, Campile again, Adamstown Division 2. I think Campile will appreciate the break from the Premier and maybe start getting a few players back and look to get a win on this one, Nicky.
Yeah, no, definitely. You would. All depends on Adamstown. They've been very, very stop-starty so far this year. So look at they'll. To be honest with you, you can only see Campile win. Brad should probably take it. Serious try get his strongest team out on the park, and definitely try get into the next round. And use it as a distraction and try and build a bit of momentum.
In Courtown are home to Highview, and we mentioned Cloughbawn there about a good community club. Highview actually, Peter, I see they've a full-size Astro up there now, so they're an up-and-coming club in Kilkenny.
Very much. Like, they've put a lot of hard work. They're very good off the field, and they're starting to kind of show now a little bit on the field. And now I think they beat Cork 2-1 in the first round. And Cork, I know, were probably a little bit worried about, because I think they had GAA problems on the time as well. So I'm not really sure how good Highview are going to be, or how well they'll travel. They're very much built around Dean Brothers, and so it'll be interesting. That'll be an interesting game, actually.
Just before we move off that one, I was talking to a chap from Kilkenny the other day. So you have 2 full-size Astros in Evergreen. Freebooters have a full one. I think Thomastown are in the process of getting one.
Thomastown are in process, yeah.
And you have Highviews. That's just 4 I know, and yet no club in Wexford have one. Is there more money in Kilkenny?
No, I don't know what it is. Carlow have 4 clubs with them as well. Like they've St. Pat's, they've Killeshan, they've Vale Wanderers and Burren Celtic. I don't know what it is. I think there was a time down, I know for a fact, like looking back with some of the clubs, they didn't actually look so much as getting in. They actually worked more on their facilities, as in dressing rooms and things like that, rather than going for the all-weather pitch and the floodlights and all that sort of thing. So I suppose, now I do know some of the grants that are probably in Carlow, and I assume in Kilkenny as well, the leader grants in particular seem to be much bigger than what you get down here.
Yeah, I actually think in my other role as a councillor, I don't think clubs are actually aware of the leader grant. In Wexford, it's not something.
It's your job now to make them aware.
Yeah.
Sure is it, because there's great money in the leader grant, actually.
Yep.
So I think All Blacks, off the top of my head, and Fort Celtic are the only 2 clubs that have got it out here in Wexford.
That's the first I heard of it.
So there'll be a big flood of phone calls now to leader tomorrow.
No problem. And then we have Crossabeg and Credit Yard. This will be a good test for Crossabeg. You were saying Credit Yard are probably going to be the team to fight with Newe. Oh, no, you said St. Pat, sorry.
Yeah, well, no, Credit Yard will always be there as well.
Yeah,
they're part of the big 3, and they're part of the big 3 in Carlow. Would have been hit with a little bit of GAA as well. I think they got to the intermediate football final up in Laois, so I think they would be. It'll be hard to see what way it is, but like Crossabeg are like probably the team in the Premier Division that I said earlier that probably kind of established themselves a little bit now. So I'd actually kind of maybe tip Crossabeg to go out there with it.
I always fancy a Wexford team at home to a Carlow team. I always found it whenever we were drawn in them competitions, you'd always say, oh Jesus, we're away to Carlow, but it was always really, really tough going up there.
Yeah.
But I always found that if we drew a Carlow team at home, it was an easier pathway. But I don't think the Carlow teams really travel a whole lot. But Cretty Yard on the other side, they have a tradition of being one of the strongest clubs in around the South Leinster area. So I'm damn sure they're not going to come down and roll over for Crossabeg.
And even going back over the years, they would have been like, probably Carlow teams would have only entered it for the same reason I mentioned earlier about some of the Wexford clubs, but that's not the case now. Like Newe, Cretty Yard and St. Pat's all go into these competitions now with ambitions.
And then last year's semi-finalist Gorey Rangers away to Ormond Villa. What can you tell us about them?
Ormond Villa, I think they're Division 1 in Kilkenny. They wouldn't have a big track record in outside competitions, but they're still there, so they must have done something. They're coming down to Tombrack then the following week in the Leinster Junior Cup as well, so Tombrack will be watching that one against Gorey with a little bit of interest.
Gorey might have a handy Kilkenny fixture, but Ross Sedley probably got the toughest fixture if you're going to Kilkenny anyway.
Well, of the two last matches you're going to talk about there, both of those teams go into the competition with ambitions to win it. Yeah, like Evergreen got to the final of it about 7 or 8 years ago now, and they're still hurt a little bit about how they played on the day. They didn't actually feel that they'd done themselves justice, and they've been working very hard at getting back there. And they actually had a big win there a couple of weeks ago against Trim Celtic in the Leinster Senior Cup. They beat them 3-2, so they're obviously on fire.
When you ever talk to anybody from Evergreen, they believe that they're at the top table in junior football in Leinster.
Yep.
Do you know, like well, in Ireland, never mind Leinster, they definitely see themselves as one of them clubs, and it's not a bad trait to have, because look at the facilities they have out there, the fabulous setup and everything like that. And if you look at it, like Ross Celtic, they're renowned all over the country as well as a junior. So if you look at that, it's two massive clubs in the traditional junior football in Leinster.
Oh, definitely, yep.
Yeah, and then Freebooters, I think they'll actually love this tie, going down to a great pitch, great facilities. In a game they'll know they'll probably win comfortably enough, or be expecting to win comfortably enough.
Well, I don't know if they'll know they'll win it comfortably enough, but yes, you would expect them to, because of a very young team. They actually won the LFA Youth Cup and the Under-19 Cup over the last number of years, and some of them, I know some of them went off the League of Ireland after that, but there's a good portion of them still left there. They'll actually love the facilities in Corraclough. I suppose that's the big disadvantage for Corraclough there, because like freebooters love to play football, they love to play fast moving football, and Corraclough's facilities will suit.
Big pitch down there.
Yep.
I just wish all the teams all the best in that, and keep that Wexford flag flying out. Now, as part of the show, we're privileged to host our first live cup draw, and we have the LFA Over 35 semi-final. So I'll hand you over to Peter now, and he'll explain who's involved.
Right, thanks Aidan. Unfortunately, there's no Wexford teams involved in it, because the Over 35 league is not part of the LFA setup. But we have 5 teams technically. We have 4 for the semi-final. Cretty Yard United from Carlow, who were beaten in the final twice and will be looking to get to the final for the 3rd time. Templeogue United, who actually were the beaten finalists last year when they lost 2-1 to Sandy Hill Shangan. Maynooth Town or Mountview CFC. Mountview caused an upset in the competition last week when they knocked out holders Sandy Hill Shangan, and Maynooth Town have been knocking around at the door there for a while, so they'll be looking forward to go one better. And one of the stronger teams in the Amateur Football League, Leicester Donecarney, who will also be looking to get themselves through to their first final.
Before we get to the draw, you're going to tell us who's the favourites? Templeogue, they won the Amateur One Cup last week, beating Sheriff.
Yes, the Over 35 football can be a little bit unpredictable, but yes, because they've had a couple of good seasons at this stage, and they got to the final last year, and they were even the favourites last year when they actually got beaten by Sandy Hill. So yes, they probably would. But you will be looking at the likes of the Maynooth Town, and we can't disregard Mountview on the fact that they knocked out the holders, which I think was a big result. Unfortunate that their goalkeeper broke his leg as well in the game, so we wish him a speedy recovery.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right, Nicky is going to draw the home team, and Aidan will draw the away team.
Leicester Donecarney.
Donecarney will be delighted to get the home draw.
And Cretty Yard United.
Cretty Yard United, yeah. Carlow.
Templeogue United.
Templeogue United, an important home draw.
And Maynooth Town or Mountview CFC.
Lovely. Thanks very much, lads. That's greatly appreciated. That's the first one live on Wexford TV, the Nicky and Aidan show, as this has become known.
I don't know about that.
It was
now.
privileged to have it. When will they be played?
They will be played. The semi-finals are down for the weekend of the 22nd of October, and the actual final, all going well, will be played on the 2nd of November.
Venue for the final will be a marquee venue, or
it'll depend who's in it. Depends who gets to it, and then we'll find somewhere in the middle.
And just before we do finish up, Peter, I just want to say thank you to you for the work that you do for the Wexford Football League as well. You're maybe not a face that everybody knows down around Wexford, because you do an awful lot of work behind closed doors, and I wish you the best in the future going forward. And I just want to say thanks for everything you do for the Wexford League.
I'd just like to thank you for coming in. But everything Nicky said, but I'll have to add all the work you've done in the women's and schoolgirls. Someone now that's involved in the schoolgirls team and has a daughter playing. It's great that they have that. Pat Whitty now has probably done a lot of work yourself and the committee have done over the years in the women's.
Look, thanks very much. Now that you're managing a schoolgirls team, I'm looking forward to seeing you in front of it on a couple of occasions. And look, when we are handing out plaudits, I think this is a great idea. I think this has worked, and I think the two of you deserve great credit, and the two lads as well, because this has been probably one of the best things that has happened grassroots football in probably ever. So it's great to get the publicity out there. So well done to yourselves.
Thanks very much, Peter. It's much appreciated.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for coming in. See you, Nicky.
See you.